Unicorns and glitter and taxidermy critters are just some of the things they like. They also enjoy 80s hair bands, Grizzly Adams and John Goodman, so if you think that's weird then you can take a hike. But the things they enjoy the most are making art and cracking jokes, so without further ado, here are your hosts. You've got your two artsy gals, your two artsy gals. Here are your two artsy gals.
Hey everybody, this is Katie.
And this is Loni.
And you are listening to Two Artsy Gals. Yay! I'm making skyrockets. Oh, now I'm going to have Afternoon Delight stuck in my head. That's a terrible but awesome song.
It is, yep.
We're super excited. First, we're kind of bummed because we had our whole month of June recorded.
We were so on it.
We were so fucking on it. But now, on June 9th, 2 days before, no, the day before, it's Tuesday, right?
Yeah, it's
So
Tuesday.
The day before this episode is going to air, we are re-recording the entire month of June because we had a horrible, catastrophic audio technical badness happen.
So this is the timeliest podcast ever.
For real. And this is Lonnie's official first episode.
Oh yeah!
Yay! I know it doesn't feel like that because we've been recording now for a month, but then it all went away. So,
yeah.
I'm so glad you're here.
Yeah,
welcome
thanks.
to the show.
I'm glad to be
This is so
here.
much fun. You guys are going to love it.
Yeah.
Seriously. Lonnie and I have been having a blast so far.
Yep.
It's rad.
Totally.
I feel like, I don't know, I probably had some kind of fucking show announcement or something in this episode at the beginning, but...
Yeah, you probably did.
I probably did. I could probably look at my notes, but, you know, let me see. No, that's it. Oh, we were going to talk a little bit about you. That's what we did.
Oh.
Like...
We can skip that.
No! People want to know about you. Like, what's your day job? What the fuck do you do? What's your life like?
I have my own little business that's kind of weird.
I don't think it's weird. I think it's awesome.
It's kind of a dirty job, but I help people get rid of their head lice.
I just had the best idea.
What?
You could have Mike Rowe come and watch you do your dirty
I know,
job.
He already did a
and
dirty
then,
job one for lice.
Oh, did he? Because I was going to say, I could just dry hump his leg while you were doing that, and I'll be like,
if he wants to, I know. See if he wants to do it again.
Well, he has a new show called
Oh.
Mike Rowe Works.
And lice are micro.
Oh
They're
my
small.
God. No, now I'm like, whoa. Okay, so finish telling people what you do, because I interrupted because I got all excited.
Oh, but yeah, it makes people itch when I talk about it, so I try not to talk about it too much, but I just go to people's houses and help them with their kids getting rid of it.
Getting rid of head lice,
Yeah.
people. And everybody fucking needs it, and I'm sorry your heads are all itching now, but it's just a fact of life.
Yeah.
Head lice fucking happen.
It does, unfortunately. And it just throws people into a panic, so...
Oh my god. It was a fucking literal 5-alarm drill. Like, anytime me and my brother got head lice as a kid, like, it was insane. It was insanity.
Yeah.
My grandma got so carried away once she tried to make my mom treat the dog.
Oh dear. Yes.
And dogs don't
crazy
even
stuff
fucking
like
get
that
head lice.
happens. Yeah.
No, people are crazy. Calm your tits, people.
Exactly.
But-
Dousing themselves in weird liquids and stuff.
Kerosene.
Yeah.
Kurt's grandpa always used to say...
Vinegar, mayo.
Yeah.
You know.
Kurt's, my husband's
Wow.
grandfather, of crabs, he would say he had this thing where you poured kerosene on them.
Ooh, yeah.
And he'd go, it burns and it itches, but it kills them sons of bitches.
He was a poet.
He kind of was. When my son was little, he went to, so one of the first Thanksgivings he did with my husband's family, and then he went to Thanksgiving, like, part due at his other grandparents' house with his dad. And his dad called me and he's like, so August stood up and told, like, he offered to say grace, which, like, Kurt's family doesn't do. My family doesn't do, but his family does, because they're nice Lutherans. And so he stood up on the chair, and he's like this cute little boy, and he goes, I'll say grace, Grandma. She's like, oh, okay. And he gets up and he goes, ashes to ashes and dust to dust. If it weren't for our bungholes, our bellies would bust.
Oh my god.
And he's like, where did he learn that? And I'm like, I'm sorry. That was Kurt's grandpa. And if you try to tell him, don't say that kind of shit to the kid. Be like, oh, god damn it, I'm 85 years old. power to say whatever I want to kids. It was funny.
It sounds like my grandpa. That's funny.
Grandpas are awesome.
Mm-hmm. My cousin got in trouble in kindergarten for raising his hand and being like, I need to take a shit. Where'd he learn that from?
Grandpa.
Thanks, Grandpa.
Yep.
Yeah. Grandpa's grounded. He's in the doghouse.
My other grandpa used to just give us weird riddles. Like, he would just say weird shit. Like, all of my life, he said, what's the difference between a duck? It bothered me. Like, it burned in my mind. Like, what do you mean, what's the between a duck and what? What's the difference between a duck? And he would never fucking tell me. Until finally, when he was in the hospital, on his literal deathbed, he told me the difference between a duck.
What?
One of its feet are both the same. Because a duck does not have a left foot and a right foot.
Oh my god.
So, 18 fucking years.
Wow.
It took to find out the answer to that fucking riddle.
Wow.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
So in addition to also having a crazy grandfather, like we all do, Loni's just awesome, and you should know that. She is. Do you know my favorite thing about you?
What?
You see some shit on the Pinterest or on the internet, you just fucking try it.
I try it. That's right.
Loni's like, she'll just fucking try it.
Sometimes it doesn't work out. Quite often it doesn't work out. Or I revisit it later and go, why did I do it that way? I could have totally done that another way, but yeah.
She just does stuff. She's crafty.
I try.
She's crafty.
And I have chickens too.
She has chickens. She also loves chickens.
And they're super cute. And I made the coop, or I made our shed into a coop. And that was fun. But it was a lot of trial.
Right?
Yeah, I have one silky now.
Wait, what happened to the rest of them?
And the other one got eaten by
the hawk. The hawk came and took the silky from her yard in front of her. But I thought you had more than 2 birds.
But then, the other 3 are different kinds.
Oh, I thought they were silkies,
They're kind of mutt chickens.
They're mutts.
They're so cute, though. But yeah.
I find the noise that just chickens make in general, their little chicken yard noises, to be very soothing for some reason.
Yeah.
Just their little
yeah.
when they're going around.
They're weird. Yeah, sometimes they're weird. Like, they make weird chuttering sounds, and
it makes me almost sleepy.
Yeah.
To hear them. I could lay down and go to sleep. Plus the smell of straw.
Yeah. I always wonder what's wrong with them. When they're making noises, I'm like, what do you need, chicken? I don't understand.
Speak English, chicken.
Yeah.
I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
It's like, oh, like weird.
I don't know. It's that Sharon's chickens follow her around and talk to her. They just want to be with her.
Yeah.
They're just chilling.
It cracks me up when they come running from across the yard. It totally looks like they should have arms. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Holding their arms out to hug you when you pick them up. We love hugging chickens.
Yeah, they should have arms.
Someday when I have my own house, I will have chickens.
Yeah.
I already have the plan.
Awesome. I didn't know you wanted chickens.
I raised chickens as a little girl.
They're
so
fun.
I will have chickens when I have my own house. We are not allowed to have them at this rental. They won't let us have them here.
Yeah.
So, because you kind of can't hide chickens.
No. Yeah. You don't want them inside.
No. I have a plan, though, because my chicken coop. Okay, look. My chickens are going to be named Sophia, Rose, Blanche, and Dorothy.
Aww.
And I'm just going to call them the Golden Girls.
Perfect.
It's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
And I'm going to sing the Golden Girls song to them all the time. Because they will be my friends.
Yep. They'll lay the most delicious eggs for you.
They will.
Yep.
My husband already thinks that I'm weird. Like, he's already like, no, we can't do that. But we will.
Yeah.
I will be victorious.
Yes. They bring joy.
They do.
Yeah.
God damn it.
Yeah.
Do you know what else brings joy?
What?
Hand embroidering.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
Nice segue, right?
Yeah, that was good. The joy of embroidery.
So that's what we're talking about today, because Loni and I have actually been working on an ongoing embroidery swap project. And I thought it would be fun for us to talk about it for our first episode together. So I started with another friend of mine an embroidery sampler swap group where we're making, I call it the free range embroidery sampler, because we're not following like strict sampler rules. Like, I think in general when you do a sampler, like each person would be assigned a stitch and always do that stitch in the sampler. Oh. But I just kind of wanted it to be like, do whatever the fuck you want, man.
Yeah.
We're just doing stuff. So, and we're going to sew them together in a little book. I'll post pictures of it when we're done, but it won't be done till December now.
Yeah.
Because we added a little time to each thing. But anyway, we've been doing this together and learning about it, reintroducing ourselves to hand embroidery. So I thought it would be fun to talk about.
Yeah.
And we've been discovering some pretty cool shit about hand embroidery. I mean, I think it's pretty self-explanatory. Hand embroidery is embroidering by hand. That's it.
Yep.
You use a needle and, your thread and your stuff, and we'll talk about what you need to do it. But the key to it are the stitches.
Yes.
Just briefly, and again, Loni and I are just kind of relearning how to do this, so we are not experts. Mm-hmm. We'll kind of give you some tips and pointers along the way. So any fabric store you go into, you can find a stitch book.
Yes.
For super cheap. Like, next to the embroidery floss and embroidery supplies, there will be probably half a dozen little laminated booklets that you can get for anywhere from $2 to $10 that'll tell you about stitches. You can also get free embroidery stitch guides online. Like, you can print off PDFs. I think, did I find one that I was going to link? I think I did. I'll link one in the show notes for this episode so that if you're interested and you just want a quick guide, you can print it off. And also, Mary Corbett, is that her name?
Yes.
Why is my cat getting into my garbage?
She's trying to find that thing that you threw away.
What did I throw away?
The little framework for your sculpture.
No, she is. She's tearing my stuff apart. Get out of the garbage, you freak. I'm a cat. Stop it, kitty.
So funny.
Yeah, she's a weirdo.
Kitty.
She is very naughty. But anyway,
Mary Corbett, yes.
Yeah, as always, YouTube is your best friend.
Yes.
I love YouTube for any kind of, because I don't know about you, but a lot of times I'm not the kind of person who can just read how to do something in a book.
Yeah,
it just
especially with
does
embroidery,
not compute.
It really helps to see it happen.
Yeah, and to kind of do it along with someone to make sure you're doing it right. So anytime you're trying to learn something like this or teach yourself something like this, I highly recommend jumping on YouTube. And we found the best person on YouTube for this. Like Mary Corbett, not only is she an amazing embroidery artist, like she just does amazing work, her videos are so fucking awesome.
Yeah, they're like stable. You can actually see what's happening.
Yeah, the camera's not all flibbity-jibbity all over the place.
Yeah.
She doesn't have any douchebaggy music playing so loud you can't hear her talking.
Exactly, yes.
It's always in focus.
Yes. Yeah.
She's
a soothing voice.
She does have a very soothing voice, and she does it more than a couple of times. She moves at a nice pace. So you're not like going, oh my god, when's this video going to be over?
Yeah.
Or, wait, what did she just do? Like, it's perfect.
Yeah.
So if you want to learn any stitches that we talk about today, or you're interested in getting into hand embroidery, I really recommend subscribing to Mary Corbett's YouTube channel.
Me too.
Because it's actually funny. I found her and then put up a link to her channel on the Facebook group that we're using to communicate for our swap. And Loni was like, oh my god, I found her last night too.
Yeah.
So she's great. But the kinds of stitches, and I'm not going to be able to list them all, but this is just a basic rundown. So you have line stitches. They're your very basic. You use them for the obvious, for outlining things, for making just lines, and for lettering. My favorite line stitch is the back stitch. I love it. What's your favorite? Do you have a favorite line stitch?
Still working on that.
Still working on that?
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, you have the running stitch, which is just kind of in and out, in and out.
Yeah.
The back stitch is what it sounds like. You're kind of going back over what you've done before in a way. I don't know. I'll put a link up to it. But I find the back stitch works best for me for lettering. Mm-hmm. And when you're doing, like, cursive lettering especially.
Yeah.
So, I love it. But there are, I don't know, probably half a dozen standard line stitches, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
That people do. So, you have those. They're pretty important. And then you have chain stitches, which you said you like the basic chain stitch a lot. You use that one?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I like that. And the chain stitch is basically, you're making a stitch, the one that Loni's talking about that she likes. Then you come up and you poke the needle from underneath up kind of through your previous stitch, so you're splitting it. And then you go back down and make another stitch and then come up and split it. So that also works pretty well for lettering too, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it can work for filling too.
For fill stitches. Also, I learned a chain stitch that I fucking love, and I cannot remember the name of it, but I will post a video to it because it's the one, did you see?
Yeah, I saw that. Is it like a loop, like you leave a loop and then you kind of lock it down with another stitch?
You're kind of making a loop and locking it down. It looks like a chain.
Yeah.
It's really cool, and I have silver metallic thread, so I don't know why, I just did it because I was learning the stitch and I thought it was fucking cool.
Yeah.
But cool. I really liked it. So, and there are various chain stitches, and then, like you mentioned, you can use that stitch for fill stitching, and fill stitching is basically what it sounds like. You're filling an area, and there are a lot of things that you can do for fill stitching. I have found I like the long and short stitch, but it takes a long time to fill an area. I get a little carried away sometimes, though.
Yeah.
I do.
Like, what do you mean?
Like, sometimes I just get carried away in my design.
Yeah.
I feel like I bite off a little bit more than I can realistically chew.
Bite off some of my finger.
That's okay. You're funny.
Yes. And the filling can be a little frustrating because it can get bulky or like, Yeah.
Like, well, and I think when we first started doing stuff for this swap, I was using, and we'll get to embroidery floss in a minute, but I was using, you can pull those apart and use fewer strands. And I was using the full 6-strand
I've done that, yeah.
String of floss, and I think that really makes your work, especially when we're working as small as we are for this project, it makes your work really fucking bulky.
Yeah.
So I've been like using 2 strands.
Yes.
Lately, even 1 on a couple of things that I've been doing. So
I think the 1 thread looks really neat.
It does.
Yeah.
I've been kind of trying to do sheet music for because the lady, mine goes to Joy next. Okay. And I asked her if she was like a Joy, because my mom's name is Joy and she likes having things with her name on them. Yeah. Because there are only a couple names that you can get like a surplus of. Yeah. Pretty much Joy and Noel. At Christmas time, there's a shitload of Joy stuff. Yep. And some Joys don't like that. So I asked Joy if she liked having her name on things, and she said she loved it. So I found the sheet music to Ode to Joy, and I was kind of just trying to do a bar of it, but it's hard to do in that super condensed area that we're limited to. So I think that I'm going to redo. I don't like the way it turned out. Aww, I think I'm just going to try to redo it with just notes around and say Ode to Joy instead of trying to actually do the sheet music. But yeah, those fill stitches are great. They fill an area, and then you have your detached stitches, which can also be used as fill stitches or just fill in the background. And those are things like your French knots, which I love. I love a French knot. Yeah. They're awesome. I showed you when we recorded this the last time, my friend Luna sent me her pages that she did for our swap. And that little owl that she did that was filled entirely with little French knots, like impossibly teeny tiny French knots. Yeah. It was crazy. It is crazy. I was like, what? And you're doing, speaking, backing up to fill stitches again, you've been trying turkey work, right? Yes. And I've never done that before.
Really, you make all these, you end up filling the space with all these little loops, and then you trim them and cut them down, and then it ends up fuzzy.
I'm going to try that.
It's really cool. You could make it like, it's like a stuffed animal,
I have plans for your pages.
Nice.
I'm already thinking ahead of time.
Some turkey work on there.
There's going to be some turkey work.
And it goes surprisingly quickly, because it's like you're making a loop, and then you kind of lock it down with another little stitch, and then you make another one next to it. But it's surprising how quickly it goes, and then all of a sudden your space is filled up with little loops that you get to.
And then you just snip the little loops open and cut it down to the length you want it.
Yeah, yep.
That's amazing.
And you get able to kind of
floof it up.
Yeah, it's so cool.
I'm doing that. And whoa! Oh, son of a bitch! Where's my phone?
That was fun.
that was a Doctor Who theme song. It also kind of gave me a heart attack. And I don't know, this unknown number has been calling me all morning. Well, now I'm creeped out because it got all like, I answered it and was all, hello, 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 and nobody was there. And then there was a little recording that went, goodbye. In this robot voice, and hung it up. I'm like, what the fuck? I threw my phone. It scared me. So now I'm afraid that like they've
recorded your voice.
Well,
They're going to use it for
you know how like some of them were doing this weird thing where you would pick up the number and then it would like somehow use your phone number your phone number would somehow get billed for like calls to other countries and shit.
Oh, wow.
Like, I don't know. It happened a long time ago, so now I'm super fucking paranoid. So, sorry about that, y'all. Also, my heart is just now finally slowing down.
Oh.
That startled me. I don't know why my own cell phone always scares me, because no one ever fucking calls me on my cell phone.
Yeah, mine rarely, yeah.
So when it does ring, and let's face it, that's not a subtle ring.
No.
Not at all.
Very exciting.
Although I love it when I'm in public every once in a while, and my phone rings. See, because my cell phone, I have a TARDIS case for my cell phone.
Yes, you do.
And the picture, like the background image, if you really know your Doctor Who, the background image of my little screen is the inside of a picture of the inside of the TARDIS. So
Perfect.
I'm that dorky. But every once in a while in public, I'll be waiting in line for something at like the grocery store, or like the last time it happened was at Joann's, and some dude was behind me. Him and his girlfriend they were talking about their project, and my phone rang because my husband was out in the car being like, dude, are you fucking done yet? I've been sitting out here for an hour. And they're like, Doctor Who! Doctor Who! And they were all like super excited. So you kind of bond with other Whovians.
Yes, yep.
When you do stuff, go back to hand embroidery. Although I am going to, well, Luna stitched me a TARDIS.
She did.
And it's
so
an awesome
cool.
TARDIS.
Yeah.
And I'm so excited about it.
Yep.
So yeah, detached stitches. I think we got a good rundown of stitches.
Yeah. Yep.
So, materials that you need. See, what you'll need, first and foremost, you need your embroidery hoop.
Mm-hmm.
And that is just like a little spring-loaded hoop. You just open it up, and you put your fabric over the smaller hoop, and then you put the bigger hoop over the top of the fabric, and then scrunch it down, screw it down, and it makes what it does is make your fabric taut. So it's easier to stitch through. People do free stitching without that. I don't know how the fuck they do it, because I would have a weird puckered mess.
Yeah.
I totally would.
Yeah.
It would be all like,
even with my hoop, I end up with puckered things
sometimes I do too.
Like,
when I do a lot of fill work.
Yes.
When I do the fill work for, I'll scan my pages so that we can see them on our website. The fill work for the beer mug on my Portland pages,
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember what that stitch is called, but it's kind of it's only attached on the edges, and then you weave it across.
Oh, yes, okay, yeah.
That gets it pulls a lot.
Yeah.
And if you're not careful, and when I have found that if I'm stressed out or I'm getting tired of doing it, but I just want to finish, I start pulling the thread tighter.
Yeah.
That's when I just need to set it down.
Yeah.
Like, I need to learn that, like, when I start feeling like my shoulders are cramping up.
Yes.
Or for me, it's my forearms.
Oh.
Like, I get knots in my forearms.
Yeah.
Because I do a lot of, like, I also do crochet and knitting. And for all of those hobbies, my forearms start getting really tense and sore and stiff. So, but I think the more tense you are, like, I crochet tighter when I'm like that too. Then I knit tighter. And pretty soon I realize that, like, especially when you're crocheting and knitting, when you're doing it tighter, you're changing the size of what you're doing.
Oh, yeah.
So, I've trained myself to stop when I do that, but I'm going to have to train myself to stop hand embroidering when I need a break.
Yeah, me too.
Really.
I know I went and got myself an extra fancy hoop. I haven't got it yet, but it's a stand because I was holding my hoop so hard with my left hand that it was making my shoulder just hurt.
See, now
like,
I kind of want one of those.
And so I'm hoping that it'll free up my left hand
Mm-hmm.
a little bit, and then I can kind of use both hands almost.
Yeah, and you won't be like so tense.
Cramped up and because I just get really excited when I get a design that I'm excited about, and it starts going, and I just want to keep going. Yeah,
I know, me too. I get really excited. I
Yeah.
dork out, and I like. Well, Of course. I like dorky things. So I like dorky, like, I like superheroes, and I like Doctor Who, and I like Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and I like zombies. So I like we were talking before we started, I like making stuff that people would normally think is creepy cute.
Yes.
Because, hello,
Yeah.
that is an awesome thing to do.
It is awesome. I know. Yes. And to see a drawing, like, because I always just use pencil to sketch out what I want to stitch. And then it's like you get to watch it come to life as you add colors.
I love that so much.
Patterns, and it's like, oh my gosh, this is looking cooler every minute. I want to keep going. Yeah.
I know every once in a while my husband walks behind and he's like, God damn, you're awesome. That's really cool. You can do cool stuff.
It's so nice, yeah.
I'm like, well, thanks. So, in addition to your embroidery hoop, and they're made of all kinds of things. I buy the bamboo ones because they're the cheapest.
Yeah.
They also have plastic. They have some metal ones. I have an antique metal one that was my great-grandmother's or my great-great-aunt's. I don't remember whose it was, but...
I have one of those, too.
It's like, it has a little spring on it.
You can find them. Like...
Oh, God, you can find them all. And you can also find embroidery floss at garage sales, like bags of the shit.
Yeah.
Bags
awesome.
of it.
Yeah.
So, let's just talk about floss since I brought it up.
Yeah.
Embroidery floss is what you use. It's the string, the pretty colored string you use to embroider with. And there are a few different kinds. So, you can get cotton or silk. I buy cotton. I buy the cheapest fucking embroidery floss I can get my hands on.
Yeah.
Mostly because I'm not really great at embroidery yet. I mean, I think I'm okay at it, but I feel like it's something that I don't, like, were I, like, a super crazy, like, Mary Corbett, like, that kind of an artist, I would probably invest a little bit more money in more expensive flosses. If I were selling my work, I would probably invest a little bit more money in it, but it's just a hobby. So, my point is, you don't have to spend a lot of money on it.
Yeah.
Embroidery floss, for the most part, is pretty inexpensive. The stuff that I use, and it's pretty standard, it comes in strands, like we mentioned earlier. It's usually 6 strand. I pull the strands apart. One thing I learned, I don't even remember where I got this tip, but never make your string, you stretch your string as long as your arm. And then cut it. If you need more, you can tie off and start with a new thread.
Yeah.
But you don't want this great big long mess of thread.
Yeah, it's
even just a short length of it. Sometimes I'm like, how the fuck did this get tangled?
Yeah.
Like, I get these little knots, and then I get all mad, and I'm trying to do this. Sometimes I just cut it and say,
I know.
fuck it, and start all over again.
Or I leave them on the back of my work. It's this nightmare of knots and the extra thread.
That's one thing my mom used to say. My great-great-aunt Nancy, the back of her embroidery work was as pretty as the front.
Yeah, I know. Some people, I know.
That's what proper Victorian ladies
my goal.
learn to fucking do.
I know. That's what I'm working towards. And it's getting better all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, like, my first
too.
one was a mess. It was horrible. But then it just, you start getting the swing of it.
And I think that once I learned that I don't have to use all 6 strands, it starts looking better on the back too. So, then there's also, like I said, there's silk floss, and within all those flosses, you have, like, your variegated floss, which I fucking love, the variegated color, because it's a quick way to add a lot of texture to your work, like visual texture, with just, and like I was telling you before, like when I'm doing flower petals or something, I like kind of pre-planning the floss, like I cut it, and then I look at the way the color changes, and so I'll try to go from like darker on the inside of the flower to lighter where more light would touch on the outside, and I try to do highlights that way. It's really neat, and it's a cool way to do it. You can also get, like, I have this crazy, like, tie-dye stuff that's just different color. So I use that for when we're doing, like, blanket stitching around the outside of the pages that we do for our stuff. So that's what I've used that for. It's kind of fun. And then there is pearl floss, which is, you can't separate the strands. And I think it's only 2 strands and it's twisted.
I have some of that, and I tried to use it and failed.
I think that you kind of have to know what you're doing with that stuff. This is what Carmen, the other lady, the lady that I started this project with, uses that pretty exclusively.
Oh, wow.
Like, she really loves to work with that. And she also does ribbon work.
Okay.
Which is
I
another
really wanna
thing
learn
that's
about
like,
that.
I want to do ribbon work too. So you're basically using thin ribbon that's made specifically for embroidery. It's like narrow and it's really flat and it's made from pretty light material, and it looks really cool. You see a lot of flowers done with it, and it makes really neat flowers.
Yeah.
And it adds a really cool, different kind of texture
Ooh,
to
I
your
just got
work.
an idea. I can't wait to get my new hoop.
I think you're so funny. That's awesome. And then you need needles, and there are different. I'm so sorry. Hold on. I had to cut that yawn out. So then you need needles, and there are actual, like, it's not just a regular sewing needle. They're for embroidering, and really, what the difference is a straight needle. So like where the thread goes through the eye of the needle, it's not bigger. Like if you look on a regular sewing needle, that's larger. So like for like a darning needle or anything like that, the spot where you put the thread through is bigger. So embroidery needles, because you have to be able to slide through other stitches and through through layers of fabric, it's just a straight shaft. And also the tip of the needle tends to be a ball, or like rounded a little bit more than regular hand sewing needles. And then there are, within that range, there are different styles of embroidery needles. I think they get heavier for the bigger work, like for needle work, they're larger, but all of them are pretty much have a standard shape, and it's designed to do the job. So you're not going to be able to do good embroidery with just a regular sewing needle.
Yeah.
You're going to run into trouble.
Yeah, and they do seem to come in packages of like a variety pack, you know.
They
It's
are a
usually,
variety pack. The one that I got came with this little cool plastic case that's magnetic.
Oh, nice.
I don't use the magnet on anything, but I do like a magnet.
Yeah.
I do like a magnetic thing.
It's like you're getting a free thing with
Yeah,
your
right?
stuff.
It's a magnet. Come on.
And it seems like some of them the eye will be bigger, so you can use more strands, and the eye is smaller for less strands.
Yeah.
So,
and then you have, now, Loni mentioned that she likes to draw her own patterns. I draw my own freehand on
so
the fabric
fun.
that I'm doing. Occasionally, if I want to do lettering and I want a specific font, I will print that off on my printer, and then I'll use the graphite paper transfer and transfer the lettering onto my work that way. And then I go over it with a pencil, because that graphite paper kind of blows hard.
Yeah, I haven't had any luck with my transfer paper.
It works, but you kind of have to push it hard, and I don't know. So there is transfer paper that you can use to transfer images onto your work. There's also, you can use carbon paper, but I think that the reason that they use transfer paper is because it washes off easily.
Yes.
It's because you don't want it to stain your fabric permanently.
Yeah.
You can buy embroidery patterns. You can buy them in any craft store that has a sewing and embroidery section. Also, there are a few cool websites online. One that I buy my electronic embroidery stuff. Like, I have a sewing machine that is an embroidery machine. So you put your pattern on the little card, and then you plug the card into the machine, and
That's cool.
it's really cool. It does pretty intricate stuff. But I buy my patterns for that at a place called urbanthreads.com. But all of their digital patterns, they also sell as hand embroidery patterns.
Oh.
So you can, and they're a little bit cheaper, and they have some fucking really cool, like, hip-looking neato stuff.
Nice.
Like, really cute stuff. I love their designs. Like, one of them, and I tried to, for the machine embroidery, but my embroidery machine's a little bit testy.
Yeah.
It's a little picky. It's one of those things that you don't leave running, because the minute you get up to go pee while it's working on a design, you're going to come back to a fucking mess.
Oh, geez, yeah.
And it's a garden gnome riding a unicorn on a rainbow with a staff in his hand that's a little mushroom on top.
No
And it's the fucking
way.
cutest thing ever, and I want it on a hoodie.
Yeah.
So bad. But I can't get the design to work on my machine, so I think my mother-in-law, my machine it beeps and stops when you have to switch the color. So you just stop and change your color and then start it again. But my mother-in-law's, you preload with, like, I think 6 colors.
Oh,
And it's a great, big, fancy-ass one. And it just goes. So I might ask her to put that on a hoodie for me because my machine does not seem to like that design. I think it doesn't like it when it goes back over colors. It gets too many layers.
Yeah.
And then it starts getting all fucking stupid.
Yeah.
I don't know. But anyway, I will put a link to that website because you can get so many really fucking cute embroidery designs.
Cool.
Hand embroidery. They even have, like, hand embroidery. You can buy them. Do you remember polo shirts?
Yes.
Like we were kids and they have a little horse. Or what are the ones with the crocodile? What was that brand?
Yeah, Izod or something?
Yeah, the Izod shirts.
Yeah.
Boy, we are fucking dating ourselves right now. Holy shit. But they also have little, like, a pack that's like little zombies and like little zombie outlines and robots and all kinds of stuff that you can put on your shirts like that.
That is cute.
It's pretty awesome, guys. For real.
Yeah.
So another thing that you may or may not need are stabilizers or backing. You can put those on before, after, or before. Sometimes before if you're working with really delicate fabric. Or like in the book that we're building out of our embroidery samples, we use the backing because we want the pages to be a little bit more substantial and not floppy. So sometimes you need backing and stabilizers. And then there are optional things like your metallic threads, beads, little embellishments. You can put anything in there. Like Loni and I were just looking back over the Pinterest board that'll go up for this episode. And there's some fucking amazing shit that people do. Holy crap. But in one of them, the lady had this, like, she did a little suitcase, but then she sewed down, like, a bottle cap and, like, really cute stuff in this little suitcase, and it was awesome.
Or the Game of Thrones stuff. She even talks about how she does it, like...
Oh my god, you posted that, the Game of Thrones dress.
Yeah.
Holy shit. How
It's
did she do that again? It's nuts.
Well, she, for her stabilizer, she just uses glue on the back, so she does her design, you know, in the hoop, and then paints glue on the back, and cuts it out, and then attaches it to the costumes. Oh, amazing. And it gave me all these ideas of, like... I want little, you know, and she does little beads in there and stuff like that, like super intricate, and
it's kind of mind blowing.
I have a coat that I want to decorate.
Yeah, I do have a lot of things that I want to decorate because I like making my own clothes. Yeah, I like making dresses and then embroidering little, like, I have this pattern, this little, they're cherries, but they're skulls.
Oh, cool!
So they're little cute cartoony looking skulls, and then you do them in red with stems, so it's little skull cherries.
Cute.
I know, right?
Yeah. Yep. Too fun.
Too fucking cute. You know, the only real embroidery project that I've done in the past, before we started, I mean, this was years ago, when my son was a baby, and, like, his father and I were still together, and we were really fucking poor. I wanted to make him a gift, I think for his birthday. And he used to wear an engineer hat all the time, like the stripes. What did I just do to my hair? I wish you guys could have seen that. That was kind of hilarious. The striped engineer hat, so I made a band of flowers that I could sew onto his hat for him. And that, I didn't know what I was doing, but I just kind of made it up as I went along. I think what I was actually doing was a silk stitch to fill things, which is just kind of, you just kind of loop around your work. But it turned out pretty okay for someone who didn't know what the fuck they were doing.
Nice.
But I love it, though. I think some of the things that we saw, out of all the things that we saw, my favorite is that lady. What the fuck was her name? I just pulled it up on the Pinterest so that I could tell everybody. Her name is Cleo Giordano?
Chloe Giordano?
I don't know. CHLOEGIORARDANO. I will post a link to her stuff.
Yeah.
Her stuff is also on the Pinterest board for this episode. She does the most amazing, teeny tiny, realistic embroidery that I just want to pet it and love it and rub it on my face.
It's really beautiful. That deer just...
That little fucking deer, and she has a thimble beside it so you can actually see how tiny it is. It is impossibly small, impossibly detailed. And Loni and I were looking at a close-up picture of this. She's using one thread.
Yeah.
And she's also, I think, just doing long and short stitch as a fill stitch. But it's just, it's mind-blowing.
Yeah.
The detail that she gets. And she's doing she's raising it up a little bit. Mm-hmm. Which, to raise things up, if you want them lifted up off the fabric more, you just do like a running stitch around it. Mm-hmm. So you're working over that so it bumps your work up. But it's, this little mouse, oh my god. They're so cute. So definitely we will.
The little birdie.
Oh my god, I know. And the squirrel. Dude, seriously, where are people finding these squirrels with the crazy tufts of hair on their ears? We don't have squirrels like that here. Our squirrels are not saucy.
Where they have, I don't know, maybe that's East Coast squirrel.
Maybe East Coast squirrels are a little saucier than West Coast squirrels. I don't know.
We don't have cardinals either. Those pretty redbirds.
No, but we have like the Stellar's jays.
Yeah, we have the bluebirds.
And I was talking to one of my friends who does have cardinals, and we were comparing notes. So cardinals are pretty much dicks like Stellar's jays are.
Yeah.
They're loud, they're rude, they're obnoxious. They like steal food from the little birds. They dig up your plants to bear.
That's so funny. So they're similar to.
They're just all assholes.
Yeah, the brightly colored.
They're brightly colored assholes.
Jerks. Yeah.
Jerks. Like the birds in the front, we have a filbert tree, which to the rest of the world is hazelnuts. In Oregon, we call them fucking filberts.
Yeah.
Because we're awesome.
Yeah.
They pull the nuts off and they bury them in our front yard. And then they get in these like fucking throwdowns where they make their wings all big and they start like guarding. They're like, no, this is my home. Fuck you. And the other guy's like, no, fuck you. I'm taking it. It's crazy. It's like this bird throwdown.
Wow.
And the dog gets really stressed out when he's like, what are they doing? Oh my god. And I'm like, shut up, you guys. It's crazy. And they bury stuff in my potted plants. But the squirrels, I had to fix my garden hose last night because I forgot last summer I had a squirrel that kept pulling my plants out of my planters and throwing them on the porch just to let them die. And I would go out on my porch and yell at, like, my back porch isn't big. Like, when I come out the door, I'm like 5 or 6 feet from this squirrel. I'm like, hey, get out of my planter. And I'm slapping my hands together. Gotta move. Get out of there. And they just look at me like, what?
Wow.
I'm busy here and you're bothering me. And they would just keep doing it. So I picked up my garden hose and I blasted him with it and I felt so bad I shot him off the railing. And I didn't mean to. And our railing is like, our deck's like 12 feet off the ground.
Oh, man.
So I shot him off the railing and then I was like, oh my god. For part of me felt like I was doing one of those stupid carnival games that I could never win and that I should get a stuffed animal. And I was like, woohoo! And then I was like, but wait, I just shot the squirrel up there. So like, a half an hour later, I'm not even fucking making this up, people. I'm sitting in the living room and I look out because I see movement. The squirrel is chewing on my hose. And it bit a fucking hole in my hose. And it was like,
I'll show you.
So I totally forgot about that because that was the end of the summer last summer. So I went out on the porch because the spigot is down at ground level. Because the back half of our house, the ground's lower than the front half. So I go out, we have a really raised back porch. So I go out on the back deck and I holler down to my husband to turn on the hose and I'm straddling the hose. I totally forgot there was a hole in it. So I get this blast of cold water right in the crotch. So it looks like I pissed my pants. And then I'm like, whoop, whoop, turn it off. Because I'm doing this little dance. Because then I get tangled up in the hose. Because, it's what you do. So I had to fix my hose last night. I totally got douche. Forcibly with cold, shocking water. And I bet you somewhere in the tree that squirrel was going,
Totally.
Squirrels are dicks, yo.
Yep.
I'm going to embroider a squirrel with a hose in its teeth.
Totally.
That's what I'm going to do, you little bastard. Oh, so, wait, embroidery. I was going to say, because I think we talked about it in the last episode, and I'll post a picture of it, one of the funnest embroidery projects I've been doing lately is to just embroider funny sayings.
Yes.
In a hoop. And then you can put, like, ribbon around the outside of the hoop, and just, that's it. Because, like, our friend, one of my really good friends, and his partner are building a house. And they've been building it by themselves, and they've had some setbacks. And he said on his Facebook wall one day, meh, fuck it, we're building a house. Like, kind of in response to all these setbacks and shit that they've had in their lives. And I thought, dude, if anything ever needed to be embroidered on a pillow, that did.
Yep.
But then I made them I found a little tiny embroidery hoop that I already had, and I just embroidered it, and then I just hot glued some pretty ribbon around the outside of it, and put some paper backing on it, just to kind of close it off, and make it look like a finished piece of work. And I just wrote a little note on the back, and I mailed it to him, and he thought it was the best thing ever.
Yeah!
He was so excited.
That's so rad.
So then I just remember funny movie quotes, or anything like that. And yeah, you can just embroider that on there.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
It is awesome.
I wanted to talk briefly about using hand embroidery in mixed media art.
Oh, yeah.
Because there are some examples of, like, hand embroidering on book pages, or really, you can embroider on paper.
Yeah.
And it's awesome.
Yeah.
Like, there's a couple of examples of people hand embroidering over, like, old anatomy books. Like, they embroider the like, your blood vessel system. Or there's some old botany books where they have people have embroidered over the flowers in the middle of these old botany books. And I think that the possibilities are pretty fucking amazing.
Just like, I need to get to a thrift store right now.
Exactly.
I need some old anatomy and botany books.
There's a bookstore that you and I have to go to. We'll discuss off air because I don't want to give my sources away to the local peeps because.
And Katie is so smart because I was like, but how it looks so brittle, like an old book page looks so brittle. But if you do the fusible
interfacing on the back, you just back it.
And then it's sturdy, and you could.
Yeah, because some of them really get like I have a few antique books vintage books that I use pages for in artwork, but they are very like the edges crumble because they're so old. So you would have to put backing on that for sure.
And it will fuse to paper as well as fabric.
Yep.
Well, holy crap.
Just make sure when you're doing that, and I always remind people, I have a crafting iron and I have a sewing iron, and I do not use my sewing iron when I'm putting backing on stuff unless I have a cloth to put over it. But when you're using paper and stuff, just use your crafting iron.
Yeah.
You don't want to get that shit all over everything.
Yeah.
So, because it gets sticky and stuff. And if you sew clothing, you don't want to, like, I have picked up my iron. This is why I have separate irons, because I picked up an iron and gotten stuff on the fabric that I'm making a dress with, because I forgot that I did stuff. So, but you can also embroider on canvases as part of your work. I've seen some amazing textile artwork and there, again, are examples in our Pinterest board for this episode where they just build up this fucking texture, and it's insane. It blows my mind. I can't even fucking handle it. My brain just goes, what?
Yeah.
It's out of control. You guys should try some hand embroidery. I think, don't you think?
I think it's so fun. It's so rewarding. And
it is.
So much you can do with it.
So much. Yeah. And again, the internet is like a fucking... Just type in hand embroidery ideas, people.
I know,
seriously?
You'll be so inspired that you'll just have to sit there with
I don't know
jaw.
why people use the internet for anything other than researching arts and crafts.
I thought it was made for porn.
Well, yeah, there's some porn too. I don't know. I feel like we've come a long way.
Arts and crafts, yeah.
It is kind of porn, though, arts and crafts.
It is, yeah, it is. It's true.
For me, anyway.
Yeah.
So, we have an awesome listener mail from listener Dana. She said,
Dana.
Hey, Katie, forgive me for being a loser. I have not been updating and listening to the podcast lately, so I managed to miss your entire Kickstarter campaign, which I can't believe you did not make. How is that possible? Well, people just don't have money, Dana. That's what it is. I want to donate anyway because I love your show and I would be sad if it went away. And I like the plan you guys have outlined and wonder how to contribute in the most useful way. I don't know if that's via PayPal donation through your Amazon wish list, or if you are going to be doing a Kickstarter 2.0. I am now listening to all of your shows in a hurry to get caught up. So I know your mom gave you some funds, and I don't know what is left. I'm listening out of order, so please excuse me if you've covered this in one of your more recent episodes. If you have a minute and would like to let me know the most useful way or your greatest needs, that would be great. Thanks, Dana.
Aww,
Dana
that's so
is
nice.
Awesome, and this was actually a while ago, because remember we recorded this episode once a month ago. Dana is amazing, and Dana actually donated through our PayPal the PayPal button on our website.
Thank you, Dana.
And she donated a huge chunk, and I think in the last episode with Sharon, I mentioned that we were able to, with Dana's donation, kind of topped us off, and we were able to, between Dana and Lois and my mom, we were able to cover our hosting for the year and upgrade our blog. And I'm going to do a couple more small equipment upgrades, but the rest is being saved aside for the bigger, more expensive equipment upgrades. So that was a huge help. And if you guys want to help, you can go to twoartsygals.com, and there is a PayPal donate button right on the website. You can donate through there always. That would be great. If you want to be a monthly supporter, you can even schedule a monthly donation, because we'll still need stuff like, we do examples for the shows and test products. So we kind of need help with that. We also have a wish list. And I think once we get our equipment upgrades taken care of, I'm just going to start adding products that we want to test to our wish list.
Yeah.
So if y'all want to help us that way, that would be great. You guys are awesome listeners. Dana, you are amazing. So thank you so much. You can stay in contact with the show by emailing us, like Dana did, which is at twoartsygals@gmail.com. You can contact us through our Facebook page, because we're on the Facebooks. So you can always message us there. You can follow us on Pinterest, because we put up a board for every show. Right now, I'm actually going back and putting up boards for all of our past episodes. I have all the boards built now. I just have to keep adding stuff to them until they're eventually
This hand embroidery one has some cool stuff
Oh
on
my
it.
God, the hand embroidery, the one for this episode has some amazing examples on it. It's crazy. Because we run across a lot of cool shit when we're researching these shows, and I don't feel like I want to... I mean, if I linked every fucking source that we had or posted pictures of everything, it would be like a nightmare-long blog post. And I try to keep the show notes pretty short. So the Pinterest board is a way for you guys to see all the cool shit that we came across while researching for the show. So, yeah, you can do all that. Follow us on Instagram. We post silly pictures on there sometimes, and we post pictures of stuff that we're working on. And, yeah, we're Two Artsy Gals on all of those. And if you don't want to look for us or you're having trouble finding us, there are buttons on our blog in the sidebar that you can go to. Just click and it'll send you to our whichever social media page. Follow us, or you can subscribe to us through iTunes and through Stitcher, and there's all other kinds of, we're on a bunch of other things now too. I just don't know what they are. I don't know how they find us. I don't know what they do. If you subscribe to us, you'll always have your new episode on your listening device, and it would be awesome if you could go leave us feedback. That's another way you can support the show, is by leaving us awesome feedback and comments on those, like on iTunes and Stitcher, so that people go, hey, this person thinks that this podcast is cool, so I should listen to it. So yeah, that's it. You guys are awesome. Loni, welcome aboard.
Yay!
I'm super excited you're doing this with me, and it's going to be super great amounts of fun. Yes. And next week, Loni and I are going to come back, and we're going to talk about pocket shrines. So until next week, go make some cool shit, yo!
Do it now!
Woohoo!
Yay!